last episode, we did 3 or 4 dives here in Dauin and Zambegita, and we were able to find a lot of cool species, a few of them that are on our critter bucket list. And in this episode, we're going to do a few more dives and try to find some more that are on our list that we recently got some leads on. So we're going to go search. It's going to be an awesome day.
Critter hunter.
What's your favorite critter?
Frogfish.
You like frogfish?
Yeah, I like the hairy one. It's hard for you to find, okay? How about you, Sir Wakika?
Nudibranchs.
In this series is to explore as many dive sites as possible in all the dive destinations that we go to. And in the last episode, I think we got 4 in, and we're gonna try to hit as many as possible in this episode as well to try to cross some species off our list. Of course, some dive sites are more diverse and better than others, and we find a lot more little critters and species. So I'm sure we'll be going to those more than others, but I want to kind of cross off all the little dive sites off on the map and try to explore as many as we can. I just got a call from our friend at Mahi Mahi Resort down in Zambegita, like 15 minutes down the road, and they found a rare Hispid frogfish. This is one that I've never seen before. I didn't think I'd be able to see it here in Dauin because nobody's ever seen one here, and he wants us to come down and see if we can film it because he knows we like to film the rare stuff. So we need to hurry, get geared up, and get down there and hope that they're still there, because this is one that's high on my bucket list for frogfish. And like I said, I thought we were gonna have to travel to find this one, so we really got to get down there. So I had to look up shaggy frogfish when they called me and see what that is, and sure enough, it's on my bucket list. The scientific name is actually the Hispid frogfish, and I thought I had seen all the different frogfish species that are here in Dauin. There's quite a few, but sure enough, somebody found this Hispid frogfish in Dauin, or actually Zambegita, about 10 minutes down the road. And I'm pretty excited about that. I thought for this one I was going to have to go to Indonesia, like Lembeh or something like that. But for the first time ever, as far as I know, I haven't found anybody that's seen this one. People that have been here 20 years, I haven't found anybody that has seen this one here in Negros Oriental. So I'm pretty excited about that, as long as it's still there. So I'm going to gear up. Today I'm switching things up a little bit. We have some students here today, so Jadea's going to stay here in the office, and it's just going to be me and Noel, the spotter. And I'm going to switch it up and use my Akuna twin sets today. I'm just going to toss on my Akuna twin tanks, BCD, and regulators. I love that thing. And we're going to go out all the way down to Mahi Mahi Resort, where the dive site is, where they found these 2 frogfish, and hopefully find it. We're bringing our twin sets, so it'll be a long dive if it takes a while to find. Hopefully it's not too deep, so we don't go into decompression. But let's check it out. All I know is you're going to be able to recognize me underwater.
Critter hunter.
So, we got to hurry. Noel's gearing up. I really hope those things are still there, so I don't have to go all the way to Indonesia or somewhere else. I could cross them off today.
Okay, I hope you find that frogfish without me, but I'm the lucky charm, so for sure.
I'm going to find it even without my lucky charm.
I know.
Look, they're cutting down coconuts. Whoa. That thing's like a meteorite. That's a good 100 feet in the air. All right. We got to go, Judea.
Bye-bye.
So while Noel goes around trying to find those yellow shaggy frogfish that we are here for, I'm of course going to get some other footage. And the first thing we ran into was this giant frogfish, which is one of the biggest that I know of and probably one of the most common here in Dauin. I then ran into this soft coral, and on it were quite a few of these tiny little cowries. If you guys have a seashell collection, I'm sure you have a cowrie in there, and this is what they look like when they're alive. They're a lot more interesting. These were pretty small, probably the size of a BB from a BB gun. And I got to watch them as they just kind of slithered around, trying to get away from my lights and hide. There's actually quite a few species of cowries in the Philippines, and I'm gonna be including these in my book that I'm writing. On that same soft coral where I found those cowries was a candy crab. And I'm not gonna spend a lot of time with him because I know I filmed him a lot in the last episode, but these are one of my favorite crabs and they're kind of hard to pass up. They're so photogenic. I hardly ever run into white hairy frogfish, and you might be asking, why is he not hairy if it's a hairy frogfish? And weirdly, this is a bald one, which this year I've been filming quite a few bald hairy frogfish. Frogfish kind of adapt to their surroundings and develop their camouflage, and this guy lives out in the sandy areas, so I guess he doesn't have the hair-like appendages that helps him blend into algae and stuff, because he just doesn't need it. And right next to him was another frogfish, and this one was a warty, also pretty big. Today was just a day of large frogfish, I guess. And then we found him. Noel called me over because he'd found the shaggy frogfish. My first time ever seeing these guys, and like I had said before, I didn't even think I'd be able to find them here in the Philippines, as nobody had seen them before. So I did learn something from these guys, and number one, they are bigger than a giant frogfish. These guys were actually pretty huge, especially the larger of the two. He was about the size of a basketball. The other thing I learned is they have a very unique lure. The lure is like a ball of cotton or something. Very, very cool. So I was wondering why these guys were sitting here next to this anemone. And it's obvious that they're just sitting there waiting to catch some of these little cardinal fish and clownfish and things that are living in the anemone. They just sit there pretty still, just waiting for one of them to get close enough so that they can snatch them up and eat them. So while they're just sitting there, of course, I'm gonna get shots of these guys because they're unique in a lot of ways from the other frogfish that I found in the Philippines. Around this anemone, there's quite a few lionfish and other predators also trying to snatch up bites to eat, because living on that anemone are cardinal fish, clownfish, and a lot of different reef fish actually. So it's a good little spot, and it's kind of an oasis out here in the middle of the sand. Not a lot of hunting they can do besides right here. As you can see, there's cardinals and damselfish and clownfish and all kinds of stuff living right here in this little small area. And the shaggies are just kind of waiting on the fringes for something to get close enough. Here's a shot of that lure, and it's just so unique. There's no other frogfish that I've ever seen that has one that looks like that. So I'm really happy that I got to cross this one off the bucket list, and it goes to show that even when I'm searching for one species that is on the list, I might just run into something totally different. I had no idea I'd be crossing these guys off anytime soon without traveling to Malaysia or Indonesia or somewhere else in the Philippines, but I got to cross it off today, so that's a big accomplishment for the list. So that was a really awesome dive. We finally got to see those two Hispid frogfish. Like I said, I've never seen them before, got to cross them off the list, but as far as all the people I've talked to that lived here a long time, I've looked at photos, everything, nobody else has seen one here in a long time. Maybe in 2011, they're not really sure, but I'm just glad we don't have to go to Indonesia or Malaysia or something to find this one. Got to cross that species off here in town. So now we're trying to think where to go next. I think we're gonna go down to Mayan Tubig Pier. I don't think it has a name at this dive site, but I used to go there all the time. It's like a really mucky, cool spot where you see a lot of rare species. But they've been building like a big jetty port there, and it's kind of almost done now. They tore up the old one, put in a new one, whole bunch of rocks, foundations, boulders. I'm really looking forward to seeing what it looks like now, but that's what we're gonna do. My friend Brian is joining us, and Judea, of course. We're just gonna jump in the water. But before I do that, Insta360 sent me some cameras, and they sent me a whole bunch. I'm gonna get into those. I got 360 cameras, action cameras, all that. But first, I'm just gonna test out this one. It looks like a competitor or an alternative to GoPro. It's a little action camera, and they gave me the housing as well. So I have the housing, of course, and some selfie sticks and stuff. I am gonna take this out of the package, charge it up, and bring it on the dive. So when you see the wide angle shots, because of course I'm carrying my macro camera, but when you see the wide angle shots, for now on, I'm gonna be filming with this because I really want to test it out. So after this clip, we'll just be using this above water and below water. So anyways, Judea, our spotter, Brian, me, we're all gonna get geared together, geared up, and get out there in the water. Judea, check out my new shorts.
Sexy kayo! Are you going to put sea urchin on it?
So I think, actually we did a whole review video on these new Akuna shorts, and I really like them. So if you guys been watching these videos and you see my old ripped up Aqualung cargo shorts, no more. I got these sweet high quality ones, and I love them so far. All right, we're heading down. I think we're all geared up. Let me see you, Judea. Ooh, fancy. All right, get in the truck. Brian's ready.
Yeah. Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, you grow hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. So flow, you
So this side is really beautiful. There's so many hiding spots and cool places for little critters to hide. But the problem right now is a current started up, and you can see here I'm trying to anchor myself just so I can get a really steady shot of this little tiny crab that I found. As you can imagine, it was hard getting a close-up shot of this little tiny guy with that current going on, so it's not the most steady. But the next shot is a pretty big nudibranch. I mean, as far as nudibranchs go, this one would probably be the size of my hand. And you can see how strong the current is now. You can see his little rhinophores and his gill feathers just flapping in the wind. So I ran into this goby and I wanted to film it and kind of show you guys because there is a lot of shrimp goby around here. And what I mean by shrimp goby is these guys are always living out in the sand and they have little burrows, and inside their burrows they live with these little shrimp, at least one, sometimes two. And the shrimp spend their day cleaning out the burrow, making it deeper, cleaning it out, cleaning out some cave-ins, cleaning out little rocks and shells that might be in there. The goby itself spends its day just sitting like this, watching for predators and dangers. Here you can see them working together. The goby's watching for dangers while the shrimp just cleans all day. If I get too close, or maybe another fish gets too close, the goby will signal to the shrimp to get back inside and they'll both dart in. It's pretty interesting, and there's a lot of different species of both the goby and the shrimp that live together, and I'm covering them also in my book. I'm writing a book about marine life in the Philippines. It'll be more of a species identification book, and we're covering a lot of shrimp gobies because there's quite a few different varieties here in Dauin in particular. But they're always fun to film, watching them as they watch me, and then their little cleaner shrimp cleaning the house all day. A lot of people think this is a sea snake or an eel, but this is actually a species of blenny. It's a snake blenny, looks like a snake or an eel, but yeah, it is a blenny, and it's very unique. I like this guy. It's very hard to film them out of their burrow, but for some reason this guy was freaking out and coming out of his hole and giving me a show. So even though I have the macro camera and it's really hard to film this big of a fish, of course I was gonna get some shots of him. I'm not sure what he was doing. Maybe it was mating season and he's looking for somebody. I don't know what's going on here, but I was definitely not gonna miss filming it. Usually it's just their heads poking out of the sand and not much to see. The clownfish is protective and hates that he has to share, but there's a lot of other little critters living here on the anemone as well, such as these cardinal fish, quite a few different species of them in fact, and then there's damselfish, shrimp, every kind of species you could think of. I like to call this little anemone home, and you'll see it all over the Philippines on pretty much every dive site. So much varieties in one little anemone. And even there's varieties of anemones, different species of anemones themselves. For instance, here's a different species of anemone and a different species of clownfish. These little shrimp love to live on there. Here's a peacock tail anemone shrimp, and they live next to ghost shrimps and many others, and crabs as well, and make for beautiful little photo subjects. Here's a close-up of that peacock tail anemone shrimp. Well, a different one. And you can just see how cool they are. They got those clear arms and claws with the blue bands, and then orange and white bodies that are pretty much transparent. It's really interesting if you look closely at the ocean floor, what you can really see. This is another type of anemone shrimp, and you see them nearly everywhere. And then we ran into a blue ribbon eel. These guys are so interesting and very, very rare here. Once in a while we will run into a black ribbon eel, but I've always been looking for a blue ribbon eel. I've only seen them in Dauin maybe once or twice in the last few years. So I was happy and surprised when we ran into this one. You can see why these guys are so unique as an eel. They don't look or act like any other eel that I know of. And they're really cool, really photogenic. Next, I just have to find the yellow ribbon eel variety. So I'm putting my camera together. We just had some awesome dives, but we're gonna go dive in front of my friend's resort called All Dive. It's a little Korean resort, and they really focus on underwater photography and videography. They have a lot of courses about that. And I'm friends with the owners, and they got some black coral and some different landscapes than we have here. It's only a few minutes down the road, so I'm putting my camera together to do photo and video, and we're gonna go down there, just me and Noel, on this dive, and see if we can find something different. Unfortunately, the owner can't join me on this dive, but I'm going to she's gonna give me some good directions to go find it. But either way, it'd be cool to see what's down there anyway. So I just gotta get my camera together, doing macro of course, and as usual from now on, I'm filming right now with the Insta360 Ace Pro. I'm also gonna film and give Noel, my spotter, that camera to film underwater as well. So yeah, I gotta get together. I gotta get this all together so I can get out there. Noel, let's go.
Okay.
Bye, wife.
Bye bye. Enjoy, Igor.
No. Taking the small car today. We arrived. All dive. So this is my friend's place, and I've never dove out front. I've been saying for years I would try it out. I've been here 100 times for other stuff, but not for diving, except for the pool. I did my IDCE and other stuff in the pool, and we filmed like a dive master skill circuit in the pool, but never out front. So I'm anxious to see what they got. Alex! Oh, rough today. Whew. here in Dauin, we have this group that names and keeps track of sea turtles here in the Negros area. And this is a well-known sea turtle that is always in front of this all-dive resort. So if you run into a turtle and you can get a photo, make sure to get the little spots on the side of their face because those are unique, kind of like a fingerprint. And you can submit it to their Facebook group and they'll tell you the name of it. And if it's a new turtle that they haven't named or tracked before, you'll be able to name it yourself. This tiny little lizardfish was sitting on the side of a giant barrel sponge and he was really still trying to hide from me. These lizardfish are usually a lot bigger, so this is obviously a juvenile and I'm glad he got to pose for me today. Here's a little fang blenny, and on this dive site I ran into a lot of blennies. They were always hiding in these little holes, and in this particular spot there was probably 4 or 5 together. There you can see another one right there. These guys are so cute and they live inside these little burrows or holes or bottles or whatever they could find, and usually in pairs or groups. I know I've been filming a lot of anemones in this episode and whatever fish are living in them, but this particular one had a whole bunch of clownfish eggs, so I wanted to film those up close. Here you can actually see the eyes and the body's developing. Apparently it's the eyes that grow first because they look huge. On that same anemone, I saw this porcelain crab, which are pretty common here. I like to watch as they grab little sediment and stuff out of the water with their little mitt-like claws. They just ride on the anemone all day as it sways in the breeze, catching stuff to eat. If you want to find a unique crab, those guys are always around to film. These Toby pufferfish are absolutely everywhere. I don't think there's a single dive site in the Philippines where you're not going to find these guys. Although there is a bit of a variety, this species is everywhere. These harlingen crabs are always photogenic. I like finding them. I film a lot of squat lobsters, but this is a unique species that I'm not sure the name of. I'm definitely gonna have to identify it. I got some good photos for my book. These dog-faced pufferfish are everywhere as well, but this one was yellow, which is a little bit more unique than the ones I usually see. These staghorn corals are home to a lot of fish that like to hide in amongst those corals, that love all the little hiding spots. At certain times of year and on certain dive sites, these broad club cuttlefish are super common. I've even seen them between 1 and even 10 all together, and they get pretty big. This one was about the size of a football, which is about as big as they get. This guy was flashing his colors like crazy, and then I figured out why. There was a mate nearby. This must be his little girlfriend, or prospective girlfriend at least. So once he found her and got close, they totally changed color and texture and everything. Maybe it's some kind of mating dance or showing off, or I don't know what. Cuttlefish are always super interesting to see. Well, that was a pretty sweet dive. This is a really good spot for macro. So many little critters. I bet it's even more crazy at night. I didn't really see what I wanted to see with the black coral and sawblade shrimp. Went too deep and there's current. But I did technically see the bearded golden goby. We saw like 5 or 10, but it's not like those other gobies I filmed. These ones were super shy, way even smaller, and they're in hard coral with a bunch of other stuff. It was just impossible to get to. Every time I'd finally get focused on one, it'd take off. Maybe I could cross them off the list, but I'd really like to go get some better footage. So I think I got some really good footage of other stuff. You guys probably already seen it, but shout out to All Dive. They got a really good macro dive site, macro muck diving dive site. Tons of little nooks and crannies and hiding spots for little crabs and shrimp and all sorts of stuff. So awesome dive. I'm starving. Let's get back to the resort, bring Judea some food, and go do some more diving. Look what just arrived in the mail. Insta360 sent me their little 360 camera, as well as the other ones I already told you about. And as promised, I want to go do a dive and figure out how this thing works. Of course, I have the housing. I got to put that inside and see how it works. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go out real quick by myself and film on this reef right out front of our resort. And there's some schools there and stuff, and if they're cooperating, I'll film them. Maybe I'll set it on the tripod on the floor and just let it look around. I don't know, but yeah, let's see how that goes. Hopefully it's good footage from the Insta360. Alright, so that was a really awesome couple days. We found some good bucket list species, and of course I think the fun is in the journey or the hunt, because we found a lot that are not on our list that are still always fun to see and fun to film. So hope you guys saw something new as well. Just in case we don't have the next episode out, if you guys want to come see us at the dive show, we got a booth with SDI TDI at the Manila DRT dive show on September 6 to 9, I believe it is.
6, yeah.
6 to, Judea will be there. We'll be in Manila for that week and meeting people, giving away some stuff. That'll be pretty fun. We're gonna make a lot of videos for our other channel with gear and stuff like that. And then, yeah, if you guys want to join our Tuba Taha liveaboard trip next April,
Yeah.
we only have like 3 seats left, maybe 2. So I know it's like a year away, but you got to get your reservations in. And we are just now launching our other trip in July 18th, I believe it is,
To Romblon.
to Romblon. It'll be like a macro photographer's dream trip. It'll be 1 week in Romblon, really exotic species. I'll make an episode there, but that's in next July. And it's starting to rain, so we better get out of here. I gotta give a big shout out to Insta360 for the cameras.
And the link is down below if you wanna get yours now. Thank you.
So definitely check out the links below. If you want to join our trips, check out our email below or the website link. And I think that's it. See you guys on the next one.